and welcome to Robert Sarazin Blake from the Kitchen Table. My name is Robert Sarazin Blake, and this here is, of course, the Kitchen Table. My associate on my right, David Penderlofgren, playing the Bellingham and running all the cables, the ones and the zeros, to bring me to you. From my kitchen table to your kitchen table, making one big kitchen table all over here, there, and everywhere else. We got a great show. What is it? What is it? It is February. It's winter time. It's been cold, although we're not as cold as we were last week here in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state. We're a little bit warmer. It's just your old dreary, gray, rainy day here. Our special guest this week is the one and only Jay Wagner from Austin, Texas. So we're very excited that he is doing all right. He's had a very exciting week down in Texas and excited to get some stories from him. But before we go any further, of course, let's take a moment and pull ourselves together, pull us into this moment here. Remember, when we started this show from the kitchen table because of the pandemic, and we are now at nearly 500,000 lives lost in the United States. So we're going to light a candle here for everybody we've lost in this pandemic that we are nearing a year of in this country. And light a candle here for everybody who is suffering because of the pandemic. People who have lost their jobs, lost income, lost houses, lost loved ones, lost their own health. We send this out to anyone who's suffering. And of course, we light this third candle here for gratitude for everything that is going well and hope for a better future. So we're going to light this candle here. Let's see how we do. And of course, when you come over to my kitchen table, I'm going to say to you, can I get you a drink? I think I'm going to have one. I'm drinking tea tonight here, some hot tea to keep myself lubricated. And I'll pour you one, and I'll have one for me. Welcome to the kitchen table. I believe we have some special guests in the house. We saw a few names that we haven't seen in a while. Is it true that Larry and Rose are tuning in all the way from Ideal Street in Buffalo? My friends, Larry and Rose. So good to see you there. And I got a call just before the show got started about someone who's interested in having the High, Wide, and Handsome Band play their wedding. So we got that going on. But before we get into these developments of the show today, we have a birthday of a regular listener, viewer, commenter out there, our friend Kimberly, all the way from Buffalo. She lives on something other than Ideal Street. She commented last week, she said, I miss playing music for drunk people. Oh, that's right. The other thing, we got a lot going on the show today. I'm losing track. The other thing is we're going to finish playing songs from the record, A Crowd of Drunken Lovers, which we started out last week, but then we didn't get to all of them. So we're going to have a few more tunes from this record, A Crowd of Drunken Lovers. Gotta move it over here so you can see the guitars too. You know, so that might work. Kind of a little vibe. All right. Made that record in August 1 and 6, 2021. So we're celebrating 20 years of my record, called The Crowd of Drunken Lovers. But we're gonna send the song out to Kimberly, Buffalo Kim, in my phone. She plays the baritone saxophone. But she misses playing music for drunk people. So we're going to play this song from our old pal Colin Spring, who we haven't seen in a very long time. Great songwriter from Oregon. Well, there ain't no bumps on Cannery Road. They all left there a long time ago, when the mansions came. Set them right on down the top of campfire flame. But there ain't no love for the tired and poor when they're sleeping outside your front door, said the lady in the blade. Send your tired masses over my way. But I'm not the one to say what's equal, just playing drunk music to draw people. Well, I remember when I was young, thought I'd change the world with the songs I sung. That was so far flung. You can't sway a talking head with a golden tongue. underneath the steeple, just playing drunk music, draw people. Well, a long time ago, we stuck it to the man, putting flowers in the barrels of the gun. We stand like a street talking man. We had 3 chords and the truth on our FM. But it's not a revolution when you drop down the needle, just playing drunk music to draw people. Must be 99 ways to skin a cat. He can never feed off an army of rats, 'cause they come too many. They eat you out of house and home for a copper penny. But I can see it through the doors, I'm peeping through the keyhole, playing drunk music to draw people. One fisherman left on Ballard Ave. I give him the song, 'cause it's all I have. Keep the good fight up. Keep on shaking that paper cup. All Ballard's turning into Capitol Hill. I hate that place, and I always will. There's no place to park. Everyone walks around like some kind of movie star. But I didn't come to play for the rich and the beautiful, playing drunk music to draw people. No, I didn't come to play for the rich and the beautiful, playing drunk music to draw people. No, I didn't come to play for the rich and the beautiful, playing drunk music to draw people. Hey, that goes out to Kim all the way over there in Buffalo. Happy birthday to you. Hopefully before too long, you and one of your many musical projects will be back on the bandstands of Buffalo, making music, making people happy with the music, making music happy for the people. And spring is sometimes it just comes floating down the way, you know, and you can. It's not. We get these little moments, a couple hours where the sun comes through, and it's not all that cold around here most of the time. So we think, yeah, maybe spring's coming. Of course, we're going to feel that way for a long time. Summer doesn't arrive until the 5th of July here, so spring is a very long season. It starts and then it just teases you, and it doesn't really happen for a long time. And by the time it's really happening, you're sick of it and you're waiting for summer. Welcome to the moderate climate here, coming at you from the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, most northwest state in the lower 48. And come summertime, we do get invited to play music for weddings when people can gather. Myself, David on the drums with bass player, a couple horn players, a fiddle player, and we have a good time playing party music for people. Send this one out to anybody out there who's planning a wedding. Maybe someday when it's raining, you'll come skipping my way. Maybe someday when it's raining, there'll be nothing in your way. I swear it's supposed to happen just like this. Wake up one day, nothing but bliss. Maybe someday when it's raining, you'll come skipping my way. Lovers quarrel over coffee, oh, I'd love to do the same. Lovers quarrel over anything, it's part of that lover's game. It's not that I like fighting, tossing around, I just wanna be someone's favorite clown, fussing, rolling and laughing as we roll around and round. I don't mind going to parties or to see a show alone, but it sure would be nice to have someone call me on the phone. Say, what are you doing? Let's go for a walk. I've been thinking about you an awful lot, and I'd like to hold you like I've been holding you in my thoughts. So maybe someday when it's raining, skipping my way. Maybe someday when it's raining, there'll be nothing in your way. Oh, I wanna be someone's only one. I wanna enjoy watching the sun fall over the ocean, fall into someone's arms. Fall over the ocean, fall into someone's arms. Ocean as I fall into someone's arms. Once again, we're celebrating this record I made 20 years ago called A Crowd of Drunken Lovers. We did this one last week, but I enjoyed doing it so much we're going to do it again, this time with David joining in on it. I think it's from side B, called Roll On Ladies. The sun is in that place where the shadows get long, west-facing walls brighter than they'll ever become. The girls in t-shirts and jackets, drink coffee, smoke cigarettes. The coming out parties never came, so they dressing every night in parade. It's not even evening yet, the sun's still fully round. The girls dash glances from the temperamental friends to the consistent crowd. Temperamental friends consistent round. Another $100 to get her out of debt, and another 100 heartaches to convince her she won't find one yet. We'll take her out on dates, consider it clean. Go with her to her girlfriend's parties, always some kind of things. Those girls get bored, nice boring guys who have jobs and ex-girlfriends who went with them on family vacations. Young enough to go for bravado, dashing loudmouth jerks. After all, they need something to talk about, and they almost even after. Like some kind of special one, even though it's clear she'll soon be moving on. So roll on, ladies, laugh, dance, and glance and sin. Better than staying at home, place traffic caught in just value of romance, having friends to love. There's so much more life in yourself than those hope Curtis would think more highly. let light push her down, down. Refuses to let light. Instead she takes by the reins, sings some dopey love song refrain. She doesn't care, she doesn't care. The people stop and the people stare. She does what she thinks will make her feel the way. Really works out, so she stands up and turns it around. She refuses to let light. She refuses to let anyone. She refuses to let light. Down, down, down. She refuses to let light push her down, down. Nice to play some old songs with David here. We've never done that before. Nice to get that old tune in the new rep. But I believe that it is time for... That's right. The third song check-in. We've got to check in and see what's going on out there in comment land. And welcome everybody once again to the show. If you're just now tuned in, my name is Robert Sarazin Blake. The name of the show is From the Kitchen Table. And we ask you every week if you are able to share. You get into your Facebook, you know, some of you know how to do this better than others, and I would be in the others, but I have figured some things out. But you're watching this, you can share this stream here on your own page as it's rolling. And that means somebody out there who's COVID bored, sitting at home, maybe feeling a little despondent, and just scrolling. We've all been there. We've scrolled when we're not proud of it, but we've sat in our chair scrolling. But somebody out there who's a friend of yours may be scrolling right now, and if you share to your page, they will come across this show here, and maybe they'll enjoy a little music on their Sunday evening. So please do, come on, baby, let's do the share on the scroll. And I learned, this is new to me here, if there's somebody in particular who you think might enjoy the show, you can tag them in the comment. You do the @ symbol, and I know I'm speaking to myself because I'm terrible at all this, but you do the @ symbol like you're like john@john.com. @ symbol and someone's name, and then you can tag them in the comments, and then this stream will go directly to them. So these are ways that you can share the show. What can we say? We've stumbled into the television business, and you are our marketing campaign, so thank you very much for helping us spread the word. David, what is the word from comment land?
Well, I can confirm that Rose and Larry from Buffalo are here, as well as...
It's been too long.
As well as Kimberly, who says, in honor of her 40th birthday week, she is accepting all digital shops.
Well, can't we have to tell people what you like? You know, whiskey, tequila. You know, let people know what tickles your fancy. And I'm sure Billiam, if no one else, will throw a few your way. Anything else in comment land?
Yeah, well, it appears that your nephew Logan has taken over your sister's account and says, "Hello, Uncle."
Oh, hi, Logan. Logan, I'm looking forward to you joining the band in a few years. Gotta practice your piano.
Wow, and apparently there are recipes for classic Canadian Caesars being shared, so...
Wow! Okay, all right. We're always looking for new ways we can make this show a little special and a little fun. And I think what we'll start doing is we'll be announcing the drink that we'll all be having next week, a week in advance. So I guess I think we'll have to do 2 weeks. Well, what do you think? 2 weeks of the Canadian seltzers? Because not everyone had time to get the ingredients.
Canadian Caesar. It's all, the recipe is here, so next week we can do Canadian Caesars.
Next week we'll do Canadian Caesar. Say it again.
Canadian Caesar.
Caesar.
It's like a Bloody Mary, but
Caesar.
I think with something else in it.
Caesar, like the ruler, not the thing that when your body shakes.
Correct.
Okay.
That's a different recipe.
I love that. I love that. Next week for our we'll get that going on. Although we could have done well, we got it. So now I'm inspired because now I want more than a drink. I want to have a beer because we have a great guest from Austin, Texas, Johann Wagner, Jay Wagner today. But also next week our guest is from Austin, Texas. So maybe we have one cocktail and one beer, and maybe we can drink Lone Star to celebrate, or a Beta. Oh, jeez, this is terrible. Let's get some comments in there to decide what kind of Texas beer we're going to drink next week when we all have a chance to supply ourselves. Meanwhile, looks like everybody's on this Canadian Caesar drink for right now. We'll have that going next week too. We're having a good time. But what else did we talk about at the third song check-in?
Tip jar.
Oh, that's right. Yes, please. We got the old digital tip jar going, where money that could be real money comes out of your digital account into our digital account. And thank you so much, everybody who donates. It really keeps us going. I can pay my digital rent with your digital tips, so I thank you very much for that. And we'll definitely be sending some digital money down to Johan, and I'm really looking forward to hearing him, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy his music if you've not heard him before. And also, he will tell us what it was like to be living in Austin this past week. Glad to say he made it, but sadly not everybody did. So, back to candle number 1 here. We'll be thinking of everybody who died in the Texas storms. And on that note, I wanted to sing an Eric Taylor song. Eric Taylor is, I consider, one of the big 3 Texas singer-songwriters. You got Guy Clark, you got Townes Van Zandt, you got Eric Taylor. And I just all day, all week long, all day of each week, I've been thinking about people in Texas. Ever since I talked to Johan and heard about people sitting in their apartments with no heat as the temperatures were dropping and dropping. Thought I'd play this Eric Taylor song called Two Fires to sort of warm up the room a little bit. There's a fire on the mesa, and I'm an innocent man. I'm just burning holes in the sand, burning my back in a 2-wheel roll. I'm gonna burn them all again before I'm done. We used to burn like Atlanta, burn like the lonesome in a young girl's eyes. Where's the fire? Hey, what's the matter? We got 2 fires burning, burning one at a time. There's a fire down on Scott Street in the pouring rain. Down on the corner, there's an 8-ball game. He's burning his fingers, man. He's burning his clothes. Somebody got burned. Down it goes. We used to burn like Atlanta, burn like the lonesome in a young girl's eyes. Where's the fire? Hey, what's the matter? We got 2 fires burning, burning one at a time. Itself out, only flame left is coming out of my mouth. One flame is red, babe, one flame is blue. Somebody get a fire into this room. We used to burn like Atlanta, burn like lonesome in a young girl's eyes. Hey, where's the fire? Hey, what's the matter? We got 2 fires burning, burning one at a time. We got 2 fires burning, again, that's an Eric Taylor song, one of my very favorite songwriters, especially his later work. When I actually listened back to his recordings from the 80s and 90s, he's wonderful, but a completely different artist. The records he made in the early aughts and then into the teens, when he was in his own 60s and 70s, are just incredible. He had really come into a style so unique to himself. Got the chance to see him a lot of times. I saw him down at Kerrville Folk Festival, and that's where I met Johan, who's going to be on here soon. And he came through Bellingham many times. It was great. Got to see him about 4 or 5 times in Bellingham. Often on Father's Day, Dad and I went. Let's see if we're doing all the old time here. Oh yeah, good. Let's see if I can sneak in 2 songs from A Crowd of Drunken Lovers, at least. I remember I was driving north in my old white van, driving Seattle to Bellingham, and I pulled off on the side of the freeway. Didn't even make it to a rest stop because the lyrics of this song were running through my head, and I had to scribble them down before they disappeared. As Neil Young says, driving is the best way to write songs. I don't know if it's the best way, but I know that the creative mind does not want to be bridled. It likes it when you're doing something else, and then it starts churning in the background. Somehow, you got to keep doing whatever it is you're doing to keep yourself alive and moving forward, yet capture the creative mind. Oh, has this turned into a songwriting workshop? Curly hair, blue eyes, purple jacket, wild smile. She's a girl I see every once in a while. Shy in the morning, keeps out of sight, hates to miss a party, wants to go to sleep at night. But I think that being shy is just part of a game. Although she wouldn't show it, she probably knows your name, and it would make you so happy just to hear her say it. When you say hello, she acts as though she didn't hear it. With a mother who's a student and a dad who couldn't stay, she refused to be truant, but she learned to run away. Ah, no one knows what will happen to his own door. She's a bouncing girl, loves to twirl, runs around laughing almost most of the time, and although she rarely eats all of her meal, she's grabbing for milk. It seems like most of the time, and with an uncle in Olympia and a grandfather who fights fires, she collects Elvis memorabilia or buy a franchise of Fred Myers. Ah, no one knows. The future's wide open for his own door. She likes stories about fairies and princesses too. She likes to play doctor with her friend Cinder, mechanic with her tools. She knows the words to the story she's about to be told. It's only natural. It's Dora's 3 years old, and with a mother who's a dancer, Dennis may as well be in the can. She'd be a soccer superstar or working organic fruit juice stand. Ah, no one knows. Except maybe Isadora. Maybe some image that has flashed in her eyes grow into a passion she cannot deny. Some will call it a call, some will call it a gift. Some will say it's her upbringing or how her parents' hormones mix. But it doesn't matter what they say, Isadora's gonna do it anyway. I'm curious to see what she happens to do. She write plays about Achilles, or Care the common flu. And all I know is I love her laugh. You can't go wrong with a laugh like that. Everyone wishes all, and of course I wish all. Yes, of course I wish all. Yes. wears her toys. She always need a man, will she be afraid of boys? All I know is I love her laugh. You can't go wrong with a laugh like that. Everyone wishes all, and of course I wish all. Yes, of course I wish all the best. Isadora from Crowd of Drunken Lovers. Any news from Common Land there, David, as we march along?
They're still talking about Caesars, man.
All right. I watch other people's live streams, and they're so good. They're able to watch the comments and say hi to people, and that's beyond me. So I thought maybe I could just pretend, and I'll say hi. Like, oh, Jeremy, great, yeah, nice one. Oh, hi, Richard, that kind of stuff. I'm going to slip in. Except, of course, it's not going to be anyone who's actually in the comment stream. Oh, Vicky's watching. Hi, Vicky. Once, maybe twice, wake up and it's your own damn fault. You're on the floor again. Where have you been? And once and again, you wake up and it's your own damn fault. It's your head again. Where have you been? And I wrote 3 good lines down that never become anything unless I get back to town and get to work again. But getting back's a long way away. It's a shame to go away. The game is over. Cards are left at the table. Land is still on. You're starting to get sober. It's your head again. Where have you been? Once, then again, wake up and it's your own damn fault. You're on the floor again. Where have you been? And there must be a God. There's got to be someone who loves each and every one of us. And it's a shame to go away. And it's a shame when you still got change. And it's a shame to go away when you still got change for the jukebox to play. Nothing in your memory yesterday, 6 o'clock gone. And all you want is another day, another day, another day, another day, another day. play. Thank you very much for being here with us at the kitchen table here. This kitchen table is reaching, I know, all the way over to Buffalo, perhaps over to Ireland, maybe to Germany, maybe points in between, around, up above, and beyond. And I'm actually warming up, which is something to celebrate here at the kitchen table, indeed. And, well, we've been talking about this record here, which I made 20 years ago, called The Crowd of Drunken Lovers. Myself and Dobro man Mike Ragoni, just as a duo, and now of course I have Bowron man David Pender-Lofgren joining me here. So I've always loved playing in the duo format because my sense of time is such that if you do it with three, it gets more complicated. We got Johann J. Wagner coming up after this song, and it crosses my mind here. I met Johann not that long after I put out A Crowd of Drunken Lovers. So let's just keep these down. All to say, he probably this was the first material he heard of mine. For me, I'm down memory lane playing this stuff. I haven't played it in years, and Johann's thinking, Jesus, Blake's still banging away on those same 6 songs. Well, you know, it's all life is not a line; it's a circle, and we'll keep going around until we stop going around, and then our spirits float around. So, all to say, no and yes, no and yes. Coming at you live from the most northwest corner, most northwest state, the most northwest state in the lower 48. My name's Robert Sarazin Blake. This is the Kitchen Table, and the name of the show is From the Kitchen Table. The name of the song is Tattoos. There was a news report just this week saying 1/3 of Americans have a tattoo. Used to just be sailors who had them. 1/3 of Americans have a tattoo. That's what I believe I was responding to over 20 years ago when I wrote this song with the opening line. I'm enjoying getting glimpses of your tattoo. The small of your back, this spot between your breasts. I'm trying not to stare. Reach and lean, I see you there. I must admit I have no regrets, it's true. I'm enjoying getting glimpses of your tattoos. There's a black dot around it, maybe trees, 2 rivers or a bell. And although some might think it too teasing, I'm quite enjoying the slow revealing. I happen to get a glimpse of your tattoo. I'm enjoying the glimpses shining through. And your blue eyes are dancing, plenty of chance. You won me over, I'm under your spell. But when you reach down to the floor, I see something I hadn't seen before. And the mystery is thickened, my mind is drifting, and I don't mean to stare, I don't want to intrude. I'm nudity and mystery, truth, imagination, the realness of blood, the erotic scent of perspiration. We need nudity and truth to make babies. We need mystery to make love. And we need to be honest to avoid getting lost. And we need imagination to make more fun. I'm enjoying getting glimpses of your tattoos. Tattoo covers will never be naked. Patterns on skin, a body celebrated. fair and easy. Roads created. We want to show, we want to try and hide. We choose to remember what's better left inside. And I'm enjoying slowly getting to know more and more of you as you reveal slowly more and more of your tattoos. Yeah, I'm enjoying the slow reveal. Have the pleasure of the oranges in the feeling, and I love the glimpses shine through as you reveal slowly to me more and more of your tattoos. Imagination, the realness of blood, the erotic scent of perspiration. We need no to the trophy to make babies. We need mystery to make love, and we need to be honest to avoid getting lost. We need imagination to make more fun. I'm enjoying getting glimpses of your tattoos. Crowd of Jungle Lovers. 20 years ago, I put that record out with that song, Tattoos. So thank you for being with me on the journey into the old pile of songs. There's a whole bunch of piles. Some are new, some are old. And what can I say? That one is that one. And now we have our guest all the way from Austin, Texas. So excited to have him. And I have my earpiece somewhere around. Hey, there he is. All right, it's coming in to scope here. Give him a warm welcome, everybody. Raise a glass, whatever it is you're drinking. And fork whatever it is you're eating, and open up your heart to my friend Johann Wagner, Jay Wagner, coming all the way in from Austin, Texas, where he has been to the end of the world, the end of civilization, and back this very week. And he's lived to tell the story. Not everybody has. This is no fooling around. And of course, while people in Texas were freezing and dying, their elected representative, Cancun Cruz, was down there sunning himself. And I really hope that pisses off the Republicans who voted him in, and they vote for Beto next time, because am I off on a limb here? We're trying to get Johann is the guest, Robert, and you're lipping off about Texas politics. Don't mess with Texas. That's what it says. Johann, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. I've been worried about you all week, and so I'm so glad to see you. You're doing all right. We spoke earlier, and I learned that your neighbors' water pipes had frozen and burst, and they got back to their apartments, and it was like Dr. Zhivago, and they walked in, and sheets of ice covering the counters.
Yeah, the whole walls were covered in ice and everything. So,
did you look at it? Did you get in there?
A little bit. Yeah, there was ice all over my front door and the whole patio because the water had come out of their rooms.
Wow.
But it was something else. Yeah, like 3 apartments right around me just blew up. And they let it go for like 4 hours of just nonstop running water, because one guy stayed here out of the 10 apartments, and he was watching it like, he could hear it like shh, and just coming out of the things, because they couldn't get anybody over here to fix it, to turn the water off.
Wow.
And so it was pretty bad.
How did he stay warm?
I don't know how he did it, because he left after that, I think. Everybody left.
Wow.
There was one, out of the 10 apartments, there was one remaining guy. And he was using it as an Airbnb, so I don't think he knew where to go. He was from like San Francisco or something, visiting. And so he just got stuck because he didn't have any friends.
How long did you stay in your apartment, and how cold was it for how long? Like 40 degrees for 24 hours, or what was approximately did you have?
Well, the power went off, and then it came back on, and I'm like, is that my microwave? A little beep.
Okay.
Like under the sheets, I have like 25 blankets on, And then I run out, and it said like 32 degrees on the little thing inside.
Wow.
And then it went out like 30 minutes later. So there was a brief moment when like you immediately start like, trying to make a sweet potato or whatever, and I didn't have any I had a bunch of food because I knew it was going to get cold, but it was all food that you had to cook.
Yeah.
And but then it got freeze, and then later on that day it just got unbearable.
You spent a night. Do you
next
think
night.
you were in your apartment for 24 hours with it being less than 40 degrees?
Oh yeah, totally. Because the next morning I woke up, think I could do it again, and the glass of water by my bed was like ice in it. And so that's when I was like shivering, and I kept thinking like I could hide behind the couch. But there's no way to leave our apartments in cars, and there was no way for a car to come pick you up.
Yeah.
Because it was just so packed full of ice. Yeah, it was just something else.
So remind me, what did you do at that point? You left.
Oh yeah, so I kept having all these different offers from friends, like, oh, come over here, come over here, come over here. But I'm like, how do you get over there? Like,
Yeah.
and so I kept rationing it out to like, oh, my friend over here like is on a straight route of a busy road, so if I have to walk, I'll be rescued. The other friend is like up here and over here and down there, and since nobody's driving, you want to be on the road where somebody might be driving.
Right. Wow, what a calculation to make.
Yeah, so, and that was like an old trick I learned from hiking trails and stuff like that. You always tell people which trail you're going on, and you know.
Right, right.
And but anyway, so I just started walking, and I was walking like really slow, and I was slipping on ice, you know, and there was like downhills, and you would like, it'd take you a good 30 minutes to walk a half a mile or something, and
You're
it was
doing
just
this
horrible,
daytime?
you know, freezing. And then halfway there, maybe about 4 miles in, a friend of mine who had to go turn on her faucet, her and her partner, ex-partner, were driving real slow to their house, and they picked me up. So I walked about 4 miles out of the 6, but it was freezing. I mean, and when I got to my friend Trisha's house, like my toes were like, I was like, oh, they're getting really numb. Like they're getting, because we're not ready for this kind of weather. You know?
Were you wearing cowboy boots?
No, because I went on, I took different walks outside, like which one, you know, the cowboy boots were sliding. And cowboy boots are great as far as like dirt and sand, and you know, so you don't get bit by rattlesnakes. But they're not too good on ice. You know, they pretty much suck.
For those of you that don't know Johan and his music, and maybe have not come across him along the line, you don't know that he is just as good of a dancer as he is a musician. And so he has to have great cowboy boots. He does have great cowboy boots for dancing. And now we are learning they're not the footwear. That kind of manly footwear is not what you need in the snow and ice.
No, not at all.
But you live in Texas, so what's your next? You probably have cowboy boots and sandals. I mean, what else do you own?
Well, I do have some old. I spent a little time working in a national park, and so I still have like some hiking boots from there.
Okay.
But they're kind of like the bottoms were kind of gone, you know. Like, 'cause I just don't wear them much anymore, you know. So I had these Adidas tennis shoes, and I just put on 3 pairs of socks, and
Wow.
I just walked through slush and ice, and it was pretty miserable. But it was kind of exciting when you realize, because we had to walk over a bridge, and it was all just ice.
Wow.
And it was kind of, and the railings were iced, and then there was like snow in your face, and so you were like, I gotta do this. And you'd have like these little like 1980s movies you watched where some guy had to like save somebody, and you know. So
Wow.
if you just embody those mythical characters, you can do it. But if you let go of that, you're just
Yeah. You've only made it 2 miles in, and you've wandered into a neighborhood, and they find you only when it's now on Sunday, 4 days later, and it's what, 60 degrees?
yeah, it's crazy. 4 days later.
So, I mean, why don't you play a song for us now, man? Because that you've overwhelmed us all with this tale. We have to get our heads around it. And we'll talk about your music a little later on, but play us a couple songs, and I'll jump in after 2, maybe, or maybe we'll just let you roll. So, everybody, please welcome me here to Kitchen Table. It's a buddy. It's realizing I first went to Kerrville about 03, which means we're closer to knowing each other 20 years.
Oh,
than
wow.
any other
You
number.
still look as handsome.
So, right back at you, Charmy. Give us a blast.
All right, so here's one from way back when. I wrote the chorus in 1999, since you're playing old songs. And then about 3 years later, my buddy Ron always remembered the chorus, and he just started writing the first verse, and then we finished it together. And it's called Drink All the Wine. Tears rolling down my face as I drift down 35. Thought it'd be a brand new day when I told you sweet goodbye. I thought I'd be a better man, but Lord knows I don't think it through. Another cold cup of coffee, and I'm coming home to you. Drink all the wine I could drink, sang all the songs I could sing, told all the lies I could tell. I'm coming home again. I'm coming home again. It's hard to get away when you're running from the sun. Hazy nights of sweet cocaine when the moon's a lucky one. And my little lover, I keep your song now close to me. Living off these daydreams, nicotine and caffeine. Drink all the wine I could drink, sang all the songs I could sing, told all the lies I could tell. 'Cause I'm coming home again. Yeah, and I'm coming home again. And it ain't like it was back when we were little kids. You chewing on your bubble gum, throwing kisses to the wind. Look at that new moon, he's always gonna tell you the truth. Apple fields and ghost towns, I'm coming home to you. Drank all the wine I could drink, sang all the songs I could sing, told all the lies I could tell. 'Cause I'm coming home again. Yeah, and I'm coming home again. Yeah, and I'm coming home again. Yeah. That's called Drank All the Wine. I don't know if Robert's still there or not, if I just play some more, or anyways. It's good to be here. This is kind of different for me. I never do these live shows. And but I'm excited to be here. And let me tune this thing real fast. There you are.
I'm coming back at it. I've been here the whole time. Now. Well, since you slowed down to tune, tell us what's going on with your music for this last year, really. You know, do you have a new record out? I think you have a new record out.
I had a record come out like 2 years ago now. I need to do a new one. The last one, you know, records are weird. Like, they're fun, but they take forever and they're really expensive. And there's all this other stuff that comes with doing a record, you know. So like, yeah. I'm going to go back in, but I'm going to do it relaxed this time. And
about 4% of making a record is being in the studio with going, this feels good, this is nice, and then there's about 96% is a whole bunch of other business. So this past year you've been locked down. Has it been a good time for writing for you?
I thought it was going to be, but not really.
Well, you're not dancing.
Try to be honest. Like,
you can't be dancing, you know.
Because I like to write at cafes. I like to get up in the morning and go where it's busy, like,
Oh,
and just like, because I'm not being social, but I'm around other people, and then I can like kind of like, I have a melody in my head, and I just kind of work on lyrics over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
And so not having someplace to go was a little rough. It's rough for me. I realize now
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I like writing in diners and cafes,
yeah,
and then going home at night and reworking the melodies. But
yeah. Right. Interesting.
so that the alone time during a pandemic was rough. But you know, it is for all of us.
Well, you're looking all right. So you've kept your spirits up other ways. Have you taken up any curious hobbies? Basket weaving or cooking?
Oh yeah, I've been cooking a lot. That's fun, like cooking. You know,
Yeah.
like making a bunch of stews and chilies and
Okay. Stewed chilies.
and learning how to do it better. You know,
Yeah.
so I do these retreats, these songwriter retreats down by the border, and I got to be a better cook because of those. And so I'm always like trying to like learn how to cook more. You know, like how can I make a better stew or a better chili, or you know.
You do feed people at these retreats? That's part of the deal?
Yeah, three meals.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I'll say it quickly and Johan can add what he wants, but I believe twice a year he runs a retreat for something like 30 to 40 songwriters, and somehow they gather in the Texas desert and they all write songs at the same time, which I don't know how they do that, but it's you either write a song that charts in the top 100 or Johan refunds your money. I think that's the way it works.
Is that how it
right?
is? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
We actually did
everyone's
two
going-
of them back to back. So we have a group of
Okay.
like 30 some people come, and then they leave, and then we stay down there at the border on Mexico and Texas, and then another 30 comes, and then it's quite so it's a good 2 weeks for us.
Okay.
But it's great
Okay.
though, man. It's really wonderful. Like not being around internet or cell phones, and having natural hot springs all around and little adobe cabins, and you're on the border.
Yeah.
You know, you can't
Could
get
you
better
play
than
us a
that.
song that you wrote down there? Well, you don't have to. Jeez, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I
I'm
figured
trying
you'd
to
have a
think of
million
which
them.
song, because like I'm like, which song?
There's no cafes down there, so you can't actually write. Everybody
Cafes,
else
but there is
writing.
a morning place that looks like a cafe. You know,
You're
that
making
you, like-
stews because you need a cafe to write. Well, give us
Yeah.
a blast, man. Whatever's in your hands. That sounded great, and looking forward to hearing some more from you.
All right, sounds good. I've been here before, and I didn't like it much back then. So I just closed my eyes and let my blood run thin. And I've been walking for miles. The day slips to black, and it's hard to stand tall when you want to fall flat. But you don't feel it anymore. Your heart don't race when my key hits the door. And you've tried before, but this house ain't your home, and it's not what you took, it's what you left behind, and it's not what you said, it's what you couldn't deny. But you don't feel it anymore. Your heart don't race when my key hits the door. And you've tried before, but this house ain't your home. And I've fallen on my shield in the city of rust and stone. You left me begging with the birds for blood and bones. You don't feel it anymore. You don't feel it anymore. And it's not what you took, it's what you left behind. Yeah, it's not what you said, it's what you couldn't deny. Thanks, that's off my last record. It's called Been Here Before. I don't know if Robert's supposed to come back in or if I'm supposed to talk.
Well,
Anyways.
Do another one, man. Am I back? Hey.
you're in.
Hey, do another one, Johan. Yes, yes. Yeah, keep it rolling.
Okay,
Keep it
another
rolling.
one.
We'll
Do
talk
another one.
after
Okay,
that.
cool. If you curse the wind, I'll damn the rain. If you spark the fire, I'll guard the flame. If you want it dark, well, I'll paint it black. But if you fall behind, babe, I'll bring you back. If you seek a trail, I'll clear the leaves. If you want to run now, I'll help you leave. If you want the high road, well, I'll light up your path. But if you fall behind, babe, I'll bring you back. If you said for sale, I'll wait ashore. If you wanna fight, I got your war. And if you roll the dice, I'll bet on the chance that if you fall behind, babe, I'll bring you back. If you tell the tales, I'll pour the wine. If you wanna slow it down now, let's take the time. And if you pull me in, darling, I'll stumble and dance. But if you fall behind, baby, I'll bring you back. If you said for sale, I'll wait ashore. If you wanna fight, I got your war. And if you roll the dice, I'll bet on the chance that if you fall behind, babe, I'll bring you back. Yeah. Yeah. curse the wind, I'll damn the rain. If you spark the fire, I'll guard the flame. If you want it dark, well, I'll light up the path. But if you fall behind, babe, I'll bring you back. But if you fall behind, babe, I'll bring you back.
Yeah, beautiful, 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 man. Thank you. I think I'll jump in and then we'll go back and forth here. Met Johan down at the Kerrville Folk Festival, where it's a wonderful place to be if you love songs. And if you don't love songs, it's just very weird because people aren't like laughing or really. There's a little bit of dancing, but what people are really doing is they're sitting around in circles in chairs and they're playing songs, one song at a time, and everyone's listening to that song. And that is not everybody's idea of a good time, but it's my idea of a great time. And I had so much fun down there. I probably went 8 out of 10 years in a row. And Johan must still be going because he lives close. Do you go every year?
I've been every year since
Yeah.
2000 or something.
You know
like that.
everybody in the campground now.
Yeah, I know too many. Yeah, I know a lot of people.
And tell me they've booked you for reals one of these years.
They booked me at the mini one, the 3-day festival.
Yeah.
The Wine and Music Kerrville.
For people who don't know it, the proper Kerrville Folk Festival is a 18-day festival. Actually, one year they did 21 days, but it's an 18-day festival. So if you get booked into the Wine and Music Festival, it's only the 3-day festival, so it feels a little insignificant. Even though 3 days is longer than most festivals, it's just, it's not the proper thing. The thing about the 18-day festival is if you go for the whole thing, you end up being a different person than you went in. It's a journey, it's an odyssey, and it's not always fun, but it's amazing. And I recommend any songwriter who has the time to go and camp out in the Texas Hill Country, starting the last weekend of May, going into June, and you're going to hear a lot of songs and be around a lot of people who believe in being a kind person first, and in writing great songs second, but just barely second. Just barely second. Your first tune you played, Coming On Home, to you inspired me to do my Coming On Home song. So death came to our house, as it will, you know. The old man was 91. Everyone agreed it was a good way to go. He golfed that morning, drove St. Vincent de Paul. After dinner with the sun, he answered God's call. Come on home, come on home, come on home. Death sticks around after the body's gone. Old blue sweater in the closet, unraked leaves are gone. His mail still arrives, each day it slides through the door. But when the game's on, everyone remembers the score. Come on home, come on home, come on home. Death loses its bite, but it never goes away. We all knew something was missing at the table Christmas Day. We sat around a little longer than we usually do. Told a few more stories. Let the spirit move through. Come on home. 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 Come on home.
Woo!
Sending it back across the table down to Austin, Texas. Of course, if somebody hasn't seen the show, they don't know that the idea here is when you play the gig, after the gig, you always go crash at somebody's house. Now, I imagine there are some people out there who after the gig go and stay at hotels, but you know, unless they've co-written songs with Johan, I've never heard of these types of people and this sort of behavior, but I know it exists, you know, but not for me and Johan. We go and crash at somebody's house, and before you go to bed, you always have a few more songs and maybe a few jars of something or other across the kitchen table. So that's the spirit of the Sunday show. We're passing songs across the kitchen table all the way from Bellingham, Washington, down to Austin, Texas, where you saw the uninhabitable planet for a couple of days and you made it out the other side. So glad you did.
Yeah, I'm glad I did too. Just imagine like everybody in your house, in your whole block and neighborhood just had to leave their house because they were freezing to death. Started crying. All right, here's one called Disappear from a long time ago. I'd say like, I don't know, 10 years ago. Left behind Highway 25 and all that noise and those industrial lights. You're smiling at me with your feet on the dash while the rearview mirror lays out the past. Drove out through that creosote rain, through the union halls and the whistling trains, to the laughing boys and the fishing holes, to the churchyards and the cafe doors, so we could disappear, disappear, disappear. Disappear, disappear. Headed out to those darkened hills, to the laughing trees and the winter chill, to those frozen lakes, to the howling wolves, to the underbrush where the lightning burns, so we could disappear, 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 disappear. grass-ridden highways, away from the peeling pain and the omens, far from the shelves that we stacked our worries. You were already there. You disappeared, 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 disappeared. Disappear, disappear. Disappear, disappear. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, man. Beautiful tune. I think that's the name of one of your records, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the name of one of my records too, yeah.
Where are people going to find, is it jwagner.com?
It's jwagnermusic.com.
jwagnermusic.com, and go there and buy a couple records. Because I can't imagine you made any money when you were living through the times when it was barely hard to live. You weren't making a living when you were barely staying alive.
Yeah, I thought about posting like, I'm playing tonight at the Sagebrush, guys. Come out. You know, just
I'm so glad you're all right, and really our hearts are going out to everybody who's not all right, and the numbers are mounting. I was trying to think if I had a disappear tune to follow up on that, and nothing came to me, but I thought maybe I'd just kind of keep a similar zone, kind of a campfire zone, really. So I'll do one, you'll do one, and then we're going to stump the band. Did I tell you about Stump the Band?
No, I never
Sometimes
know.
I don't tell people about Stump the Band. I
Stump the
really
Band.
intend to tell people. I don't always tell people. I mean, just so what happens is we're gonna have a live guest. Someone's gonna call in, and they're gonna have 3 requests, and then they'll tell us all 3, and then you and I are gonna look at each other and go, "Can you do that? Or can I? Or can you do that one?" We'll see if we can pull it off. And we have a guest coming in all the way. Our caller, our guest who has the request, is going to try to stump the band. It's coming in all the way from Michigan. So that's a different experience up there, up in Michigan.
Wow.
And it's a big kitchen table here. It's a big kitchen. You've heard of the big tent? This is the big kitchen table here. But we're not there yet. I'm going to do one, you're going to do one, and then we're going to get into the wilds of stumping the band.
I like it.
I gave you all my kisses in a poem, babe. In a poem, babe. In a poem. The ones you said you were missing, babe. In a poem, babe. There was no start, there was no middle. There was no middle, there was no end. Just an old man sawing on his fiddle, babe. Oh, babe, that I made. Someday, I'm gonna kiss your face, babe. Someday, I'm gonna kiss your face. I'll try and compensate, babe, for all the lines I made. For I gave all my kisses in a poem, babe. Oh, babe. Once you said you miss me, oh babe. Kind of a campfire vibe, don't you think?
Very nice, very nice. I refilled my my coffee during that time period.
Drinking coffee at this hour.
It's like kind of coffee.
Okay, all right. Second pour.
It's like this New Orleans chicory thing that I drink sometimes late at night, you know. Well, Robert, such a pleasure to be here. I'm enjoying this, man.
I'm enjoying it too. It's great to hear your songs and great to get some on the ground reporting. And so, yeah, anything you want to tell us and about your music and things? I guess your camps. Are you going to be able to have your camps this year? Do you know? They sell out about 10 minutes, anyways. But if
Well, they
somebody
get
watches,
the lottery to get in, actually. Like,
yeah. So it's well, if somebody here's curious about the camps, what do they do?
So it's called Crooked Crow, and it's just all kind of about mythology, and it's a songwriting camp, but it's not like the way you think of songwriting. It's not. It's for songwriters that are actually working songwriters,
Mm-hmm.
and to get back kind of to that beginner zen state.
Cool.
You know, it sounds cheesy when I talk about it. Even I think it sounds cheesy, but when you're there, you're like, oh, I get it.
Okay. Okay.
And but anyway, here's a song I wrote, kind of dealing with, kind of from that, some of the writing exercises, things we do down there. It's called Dangerous Game. You got too many questions, and I'm stuck in the mud. I get nervous and anxious when I think of us. I'm riding through the darkness, but I'm driving through the rain, trying to talk myself out of playing our dangerous game. I smile when I'm angry, but I fight for the truth. I put a flag at your border once and sent a prayer off to you. Now I'm staring at the rubble between the smoke and the flame, trying to talk myself out of playing our dangerous game. I'm a tin can soldier who's too proud to quit. I ran with the highway boys once till I lost all of it. And I can tell by your laughter and how you joke with my name that we'll both be caught up soon playing our dangerous game. The lantern's still burning, half moon hanging in the east. I got the weight of your story grinding at the edge of my teeth. And I pull into a small town, and I'm swerving through lanes, trying to talk myself out of playing our dangerous game. I'm a tin can soldier who's too proud to quit. I ran with the highway boys once till I lost all of it. And I can tell by your laughter and how you joke with my name that we'll both be caught up soon playing our dangerous game. Yeah, right
Loved
on.
it. Beautiful tune, man. Beautiful tune. And in one of my favorite keys, the key of E flat. And if we were doing a songwriter in the round on a stage together, I would have just boldly jumped right in there and probably played some wrong chords because I tune a half step flat, so I could have given you the big E flat like this, you know. And, yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so great to hear your songs, and looking forward when we're going to hear you in person, get you back at the Jamboree, back when we are able to Jamboree again. And your tunes really, they always take me to a special place. So thanks for being on the show. And we have Caroline Barlow coming in all the way from Michigan. She has a part, I'm not sure what her role is. She might be running the whole darn thing of Bliss Fest, a big folk music festival up there. I met her at the Hoot, Mike and Ruthie's Festival in Woodstock, New York. And she started coming around to the kitchen table this fall and winter, and I saw her name pop up, so it was nice to see her again. And she's going to try to stump the band, but, we got a songwriter from Austin on the team here. I mean, so that's, you can try, you can try. Hey, Caroline, are you there?
Hey, yeah, I am. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, and yourself, how you doing?
Doing pretty well up here. It's cold here too, but I really feel it for the folks down in Texas. Just so you know, I have not been judgy like a lot of Midwesterners are mean. I grew up in the South. I grew up in North Carolina, and really, really tough stuff. So I'm glad you're hanging in there.
Oh, you can't.
Well,
There's no room
thanks.
for
I was in
judgment.
Traverse City, Michigan, gigging one summer, and there was a sandwich shop that had 93. It had a sign that says 93 degrees, too hot. And so we laughed at that because 93 degrees means it's a beautiful, wonderful, non-hot day. So.
Yeah, true that. And they rarely get humidity, babies. Yeah.
And how long is it going to stay cold in Michigan?
Oh my goodness. I mean, we've had snow in May.
Yeah.
But we've also had, early springs in March. But it's almost always hot, warm, cold from March until June.
Well,
but
yeah. Do you naively start getting excited for spring in February, or are you hardened, or are Michiganders hardened, like you're not even going to think about spring yet?
Oh, I still have wishful thinking because of the whole southern thing. With spring starting early. I'm definitely a better driver in the snow, but I definitely wish for spring early. I'm a softie.
Okay. And where is Bliss Fest? What part of the state?
Yeah, we're in northern Michigan. We call it the tip of the mitt. We're north of Traverse City, 3 miles away from Lake Michigan.
Okay.
In Bliss, just outside of Bliss, Michigan.
Well, that all adds up.
Yeah.
And it's the Mackinac Bridge, right?
Super close, yep. It's about 45 minutes to the Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah, I mentioned Mackinac in one of my songs, and it comes from that bridge, even though the Mackinac is also a hat. So, but actually,
and Mackinac Island and Mackinac City, they're all spelled differently.
There's a little Pacific Northwest folklore. There's a song called The Frozen Lager. I see you are a logger, not just an average bum, 'cause no one but a logger stirs his coffee with his thumb. And that the guy is in a cafe, but then he leaves the cafe, and he forgot his Mackinac, which is a hat. So, it's a great word.
Wow, I did not know it was a hat.
Are you trying to tell me you've never heard the Ballad of the Frozen Lager?
I'm telling you, no, I haven't.
Wow.
But
I
we
guess
have
made its way to
songs
North
like
Carolina.
that. The UP was a big logging region as well. Logging jam songs.
And are North Carolina people Tar Heels?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Tar Heels.
Yeah.
That's a logging type refrain, I think.
Is it true you call tourists fudgies?
Yes. And people who live under the bridge are trolls.
Oh.
We are just going all over the place here. We haven't even just talked about music yet. This is wonderful. So now, and I always get embarrassed this happens. It is Caroline, not Carolyn, correct?
You're right. Yep.
Okay,
Caroline.
it's Caroline. Yeah, you know it, but then you get on stage and doubt creeps in, as our friend Aeneas wrote so eloquently. Doubt does creep in. So Caroline, you've been listening hopefully to Johan and myself, and maybe that inspired a few requests, and you're going to throw them our way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd probably have to go with the Texas songwriter theme. I'm sorry, maybe you're welcome. I'm not sure yet. Earlier, RSB, you mentioned kind of the Trinity, Guy Clark, Towns, and Eric, and I would have put Lyle Lovett in that. So we're gonna maybe stump you with a Lyle song. I have Road to Ensenada but we could go many different ways there. But I could hear both of you, one of you, doing that really beautifully. And then, so I just keep going?
Yeah, you give us all three, and that way we can send the research librarians in our brains back to some of the dusty files and give us a minute or two.
Sure. Yeah, they'll go running. So then we have Nancy Griffith, It's a Hard Life Wherever You Go.
Oh, great song.
One of my favorites. And then I had to do this because my name is Caroline.
Uh-huh.
Tecumseh Valley, Towns Van Zandt.
Yeah. Johan, do you want to tackle any of these? Anything jumping out at you?
I mean, I know some Towns Van Zandt songs. I actually live in the cul-de-sac where Towns Van Zandt lived.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So that's kind of interesting, little Charlotte Street, and kind of a little history.
Yeah, well, let's go. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do this. Johan, you give us, if you would, a town song, and I'm going to put the research librarians in the dusty files of my brain onto those other requests, and I'll come up with something. I promise you that. I promise the research librarians the wheels are spinning. I'm not exactly sure what it is. The names you gave was Caroline, daughter of a miner. In her ways were free, and it seemed to me sunshine walked beside her. What a great song. I learned that song when I was 16 or 17, and I could sing about 3 verses, which would be a medley of all the verses, lines from here and there. So I'm not going to do that. That's why we're going to pass Towns right over to Johan. And Caroline, thank you so much for tuning in, to listening, and for these requests. And someday we'll all meet again in person, but until then, great to see you at the kitchen table.
Yeah, thanks so much. Looking forward to hearing it. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
Living on the road, my friend, gonna keep you free and clean. Now you wear your skin like iron, your breath as hard as kerosene. You weren't your mama's only boy, but her favorite one, it seems. She began to cry when you said goodbye and sink into your dreams. Pancho was a bandit boy, horse as fast as pot of steel. Wore his gun outside his pants for all the honest world to feel. Pancho met his match, you know, on the desert down in Mexico. No one heard his dying words. That's the way it goes. All the federally say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Lefty no longer sings the blues all night long like he used to. Dust that Pancho bit down south that ended up in Lefty's mouth. When they laid poor Pancho low, Lefty fled for the Ohio, where he got the bread to go. Ain't nobody knows. All the federally say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. Poet poets tell how Pancho fell. Lefty's living in a cheap hotel. The desert's quiet and Cleveland's cold. That's how the story ends, I'm told. Pancho needs your prayers, it's true. Say a few for Lefty too. He only did what he had to do. Now he's growing old. All the federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. Few old gray federales say they could have had him any day. They only let him slip away. Out of kindness, I suppose. Out of kindness, I suppose.
Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much for being on the show, and wishing a speedy recovery to everybody down there in Austin, and wishing all the best for yourself. Looking forward to crossing paths and hearing your new songs and your old songs at kitchen tables, festivals, and small dark rooms down the line.
Yeah, totally.
Take care, brother.
All right, buddy. That's it. Take care of yourself. Thanks for having me.
Right. So a few thoughts came to mind with those requests. I like that I Love It. I'm not sure what song that is, but there's one I always remember that. I got two lovers and I ain't ashamed. I got two lovers and I love them both the same. Let me tell you about my first lover. I remember hearing that song. I thought, that's sort of a risque song, you know. Geez, wow, what a wild rambler. Well, I Love It is. I never did learn that song, but it always stuck with me, that chorus. This was before everybody was polyamorous, you know, when that song came out. It was very bold of him to just be like that. I got two lovers and I ain't ashamed. I got two lovers and I love them both the same. Let me tell you about my friend. You know, Lyle has that kind of a silky, kind of sort of smooth thing going on in the midst with it, mixed up with the Texas. And then we go to Nancy Griffith. I get to thinking about cafeteria line in Chicago. Big man in front of me. It's called black people trash to his children. But he's the only trash here I see. The hard life wherever you go. And if you poison your children with hatred, hard life is all that they'll know. 'Cause it's a hard life, it's a hard life, it's a hard life wherever you go. And if you poison your children with hatred, then a hard life is all they'll know. And then here's an Nancy Griffith song that I think I can get all the way through. I could use a little spin on a red brick floor. A crazy old boy James locks the door. All our ring, the strings are gonna bend. Bust on the cheek for all my old lovers again. New York winter's been good to me. There's been lines. New York winter's been good to me. There's been songs to sing, good lines to sing. Sure to miss my native tongue. It's New York City kinds of brings out the stupid in me. Crazy on this road, driving alone, and the asphalt's burning tonight. Yeah. The ridge mountains in the middle of the night, sure feels good when you cross that line. Tip my cup, all at the moon, the great north. I say, honey, I'll be seeing you soon. Stop down in Tennessee. Sweetheart, there's a waiting on me. Back on the road, kicking each Texas dust. Catch my breath with a bright Houston flat, with a bright glass of Houston buzz. Going crazy on the road, riding alone. The spin on a red brick floor. Crazy old bar, Jim locks the door. Walls are ringing, strings are gonna bend. Bus on the cheek for all my lovers again. Yeah, begins a little spin on a red brick floor. Crazy old bar, Jim locks the door. Kind of a COVID song. Missing getting together with friends in the small bars where so much of our lives happen and are defined by the music that hits the walls and the ears in between, making us feel something all at the same time. We're doing our best here at the kitchen table. Caroline, thanks for the request. We got a little bits and bobs of them anyways. I always enjoy being reminded of great songs. Crazy on the road, traveling alone, the asphalt is burning. I say Caroline is also a great singer, songwriter, performer in her own right. So if you want to check out her music, Caroline Barlow from the northern part of the Michigan, the tip of the mitt, not too far from the Mackinac Bridge. Thanks for the request. We were doing this song early back in the spring and in the summer a little bit. We lost track of it, but when I look back on the COVID times, I will be looking back on this song as a theme song for myself personally. And it's a big part of the show as well. Comes from a mutual friend of Jay Wagner's and myself. Our brother John Elliott from San Francisco wrote this song. He may as well have written it for COVID, even though he wrote it well before. You got lost when your mom got sick. Prescription pills and therapists. Your mom got worse, she didn't make it. After years and years and hours, you visit her grave with your favorite flower. You talk to her, and she listens. You've had the worst of God and man. You swore you'd never love again. You don't have kids, your friends all do. You wonder what is wrong with you while they're stuck at home. You're free to roam, save off some cash and hit the road. Quit your job, who knows, buy a ticket someplace far. 'Cause it gets bad, but it gets better. Call it craziness, call it the weather. We can make it through if we laugh at it together. It gets bad, but it gets better. Another politician making noise, another bad guy hanging out with the bad boys. Lives destroyed, damage done, bombs deployed, more to come. Poison in the earth and air. Men in charge, you just don't care. Men in charge with thinning hair. Soon they'll all be dead. When the market crashed, you had a great bad loan. You lost your wife, you lost your home. You washed up here, alone and broken. You found a new place and a good gig too, with a better boss and more time for you. Last week in line you met someone new. There's a lot 11 years can do. 'Cause it gets bad, but it gets better. Call it COVID, call it the weather. We can make it through if we laugh at it together. It gets bad, but it gets better. It gets bad again, I know. The darkness comes and the darkness grows. Sometimes the darkness never goes, and goodness loses. But somewhere else it's dawn again, and on it never ends. The sun blows up in a great big ball and swallows us all. But even then it just might be that living in a different galaxy, we might get to watch it on our phone all together and all. Rome fell down, the Incans lost the Spanish crown. Mayans were the best around, the Spanish beat too. Spain declined and France declined, and then we had a world war. 16 million dead and more. We swore we'd never do it again. Yeah, world peace was the world goal till the Nazis tried to take control. Nazis lost to the USA and the Russians saved the day. Hitler really went, but Stalin really went to town. The States were great unless your face was brown. There were superpowers, atom bombs, summer of love, Beatles songs, 9/11, terrorists, no mention of Africa in any of this. Child born, baby missed, funeral and a wedding kiss. Guess it gets bad, bad, but it gets better. Call cold, call it the weather. We can make it through if we laugh at it together. It gets bad, but it gets better. Oh, let's sing it together. For everybody down in Texas, for everybody suffering because of the pandemic, and maybe even a little bit for ourselves, even though our suffering is mild in comparison with so many others. It gets bad, but it gets better. Call it craziness, call it the weather. We can make it through if we laugh at it together. It gets bad, but it gets better. It gets bad, but it gets better. Call it cold, call it the weather. We can make it through if we laugh at it together. It gets bad, but it gets better. John Elliott's song there, another buddy met down in Texas, also friend of Johann Wagner's. And where are we at? All right. So let's see, I thought we'd spread the word about a few things here. Let's see. That's right, St. Patrick's Day. Some people are starting to ask me about St. Patrick's Day. We will be doing a special live stream on St. Patrick's Day, roughly between 5 and 8. Not exactly sure how we're going to pull that off, but St. Patrick's Day will be happening. There's even been some conversation with the Peckle Donald dancers. So for those of you who are used to seeing us down at Boundary Bay Brewery on St. Patrick's Day, we'll be doing our best to bring as much of that vibe as possible. The brewery will be open on St. Patrick's Day, so you can go down there and eat at a socially distant table, but we will not be playing live down there. A little too soon for such a fine accordion and fiddle player. Cajun Creole music, Zydeco. He was at the Jamboree, and I got to play with him a bit. Oh man, I learned what it really is to be a musician. Sitting next to him, I thought, oh, that's what it is, man. What a fine player. Really looking forward to hearing Cedric's music in a couple weeks. And then we got St. Patrick's Day, and then we're going to take a break. We're going to take 3 Sundays off, catch our breath a little bit, and then we'll be opening up season 3 in April, second weekend in April. We'll be off on Easter, and we'll come back on the Sunday after Easter. And Alexis P. Suter is going to be our guest, starting off season 3. We'll be indoors for a while, and then I'm very excited to say we're starting to plan some outdoor gatherings where we'll be able to have a socially distanced audience. And where are we going to be doing this? Well, it might be in your backyard. We're going to be doing a roving backyard kitchen table. Bringing our kitchen table to your backyard, and you bring as many people as can comfortably and safely gather. I'm hoping a bunch of people will be vaccinated by then. We'll figure out how we can safely gather in very small groups in the backyards on Sundays in the spring and summer. And that's the story. My name is Robert Sarazin Blake. The name of the show is From the Kitchen Table. Distancing is mandatory, but suffering is optional. So we're gathering on Sundays at the kitchen table and telling a few jokes to each other, singing a few songs, and hearing some songs from our friends across the country. Big thanks, David Penderlofgren, for connecting all the dots to bring all of our kitchen tables together. Jay Wagner, thank you very much for being on the show, and thank you to Caroline Barlow. Go check out her music as well. I don't know if she stumped the band or not. Leave that up to you. Might depend on how many of those. What kind of drinks are everybody drinking? Canadian Caesars. Yeah. I think we're done with the crowd of drunken lovers in memory lane. I mean, if the spirit hits us, we'll do it. As always, we close with this one from our buddy Hank Waddell in Cork City, who plays every Monday night at Charlie's, unless there is